First of all, I would like to say thank you for the organizer for inviting me. This is really an honor for me to speak before you. Pak Peter Baxter, Pak Abhijit, Pak Yosi, Ben Olken, thanks a lot, and all my colleagues here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In TNP2K, we believe in the evidence-based policy-making process, i.e. a policy-making process which makes use of evidence and knowledge rather than guts, hunches, instinct, or anecdotal stories. As such, evidence and knowledge are very important. In connection with that, I would like to say thank you to Peter Baxter, thank you to AusAid, because you help us since we start. So this has been, time flies, it's already almost 4 years that we established our office, the TNP2K. And with your help to us, with your contribution to us, I think you can see how we develop, and you should be proud of our office if you go to our office right now. Yeah, all of my colleagues is here, so we would like to say thank you to you. We try to run our office as much as a think tank, so it's depart a little bit from the regular bureaucracy, because we realize if we run the office like a bureaucracy, you will not get the result of the evidence-based policy-making process. So again, I would like to say thank you. I would like to say thank you also to Abhijit, to JIPAL, all colleagues from JIPAL. JIPAL or JIPAL, right? Okay. So because you has been helping us for this evidence-based policy-making process. I would like to say thank you also to University of Indonesia. Ada Pak Rektor, terima kasih banyak Pak, dan kolik yang lain. Yeah. So, moreover, we encourage different research institutes, universities, think tanks to produce knowledge and evidence which should be academically sound, and it is very important to acknowledge that research conducted by internationally recognized institutions such as JIPAL will be academically rigorous, and hence is up to the international standards or best practices. I would like to share with you our 2 experiences with JIPAL. So one is when we start, I think Pak Ben already mentioned this a little bit. When we want to establish our unified database system, as you may know, we start having a list of poor household by name, by address. We started in 2005. That's the first time when we want to give a cash transfers to the poor household. Before that, we don't have a list of name, by address. So this is the first time in the history of this country that we have a list of poor household by name, by address. We started 2005, and then secondly in 2008, because this is the first time that we did that, we still have some weakness in our data. As a result, despite the rhetoric that we, pro the poor and so on, but the 3 big programs that we have, the health assistance, Jamkesmas, the Raskin, the Rise for the Poor, and the cash transfers. The poor people that get that 3 programs simultaneously is only about 30%. So it means we have some problem with our targeting. So we try to improve this. We invite JPAL for this. And we do a lot of experiments for this. In 2005 and 2008, what we did is, we visit door by door the poor household, and then make, list all of the characteristics of the household. And then we try to do proximity testing with that. But what we are trying to do is try to combine that kind of top-down approach and also with the community approach. The question is, who is the best to ask if you want to know where the poor is, where the poor household located? So we did these experiments in several kabupaten. And then the answer is that if you want to know where is the poor located, is you should ask the poor themselves. This is come from our experiment with JPAL. So if you ask the head of the village, there will be a bias. If you ask tokoh masyarakat, I don't know tokoh masyarakat bahasa Inggrisnya apa ya, is also will be a bias. So from our experiment, the best is asking the poor themselves. So this is how we develop our new database, what we call it the unified database. So this database now consists of 40% the lowest household in Indonesia, the lowest in the term of social and economics. Yeah. And now every agency use this data. Yeah. So before, every agency that has a social assistance program, they use different set of data. Now they start use this unified database system. Yeah. And we expect and we hope that this data is much, much better than the 2005 and 2008 data set. The second experience with JPAL is when we try to do a lot of experiments in using the cards to distribute the rice for poor household, the Raskin. As you may heard, Pak Abhijit, that today we distribute cards directly to the poor household. But actually the design of the card is based on the experiment with JPAL. What did we do? One is the design of the card itself. Should we put the price of the rice on the card or not? Will that help? No, I think I should explain before that. The Raskin is a rice that we distribute to the poor household. And each household supposed to get 15 kilograms per household. But from our survey, the household that receive the rice is on average is only around 6 to 7 kilograms. So that is less than half. So we try to find ways how to increase this amount of Raskin that received by the poor household. So one idea is to giving the card directly to the name that listed on our database. But the design of the card, we did a lot of experiment for that. So one design is we put a coupon on the card with the price of the rice there. This is a subsidized price. So it's not the full price, but still the poor household need to pay around 1,600 rupiah per kilogram. Yeah? So this is a lot of, I just want to share to you that just to make a simple decision, it takes a lot of research. We distribute for this pilot 1 million cards to be distributed on our pilot. And then the type of socialization, this is also important. Yeah? I never imagined of this, Abhijit, before. But the type of socialization, is very important. And the decision made, by randomized field experiments that demonstrates benefit of involving the community to be part of the socialization themselves. Yeah. We did by ourselves also an experiment using a card for the scholarship. This is also interesting. So now, if you read on the newspaper, you can see that we distribute the cards, 15.5 million cards to 15.5 million households. And that card can be used for Raskin, for the Rice for the Poor, for Beasiswa, and also for the cash transfers. So this is the embryo of what we call it unified card for social assistance. Yeah. And we start, and what funny is that when we design the card, because we cannot announce that the card consists of, you can use this for Beasiswa, you can use it for scholarship, because at the process, when we need to ask our parliament before we can say that without their permission, I cannot say that the card can be used for the cash transfers and also can be used for the scholarships. So it's a very, although the design is already there, but we cannot announce it. So there come the problems of socialization again, which is very, very important from our experiment before. Yeah? But Indonesia is a very different country today compared than 15 years ago. Under Suharto, if he say yes, everybody will say yes. Now it's very different. So even to give a card that we already designed it, we cannot announce it that you can use it for Raskin, or you cannot use it for scholarship. You can use it for the cash transfers. So only a week after the parliament say yes, we can announce it. So if you read in the newspaper that there are some problems with socialization, I think this is because of this process. So we'd like to thanks again with the JPEL to help us with this. However, it will be very naive to expect that any academically rigorous study will directly be picked up by government or implementing agency in its quest to improve programs. Yes, indeed, good report usually have a policy recommendation section in it. And I also understand the frustration of research communities to see that their policy recommendations are not taken into policy reforms, into policy actions. It is also my understanding that in many cases, the research communities accuse the policymakers as ignorant to the policy recommendations. What I would like to say here is that turning recommendation into policy action takes more than just a rigorous study. Rigorous study, yes, we need that. We appreciate, with working with University of Indonesia, with other institutions, with JPAL and other, with the bank, and It does require what I call the policy brokerage. a broker for policy. It may be the case that policy brokerage is not what research institutions like JPAL is interested to do, but I have to tell you that it is mandatory for the real policy-making process. Policy brokerage takes knowledge and evidence and consider them against bureaucracy and sometimes political sensitivity. This is the sensitivity that policy-making process will never be able to detach itself from. After taking into account the knowledge and evidence against the bureaucracy sensitivity, policy brokerage needs to translate the knowledge and evidence into policy actions. And this is what we believe that what we did in TNP2K. We act as a broker. Yeah. The process is, one process is what we call it the bottom-up approach, where me and our staff deals with the technical staff at the line ministries to work out the implementation details. That's one side. The other side is the vice president, which is the chair of the TNP2K, gives instruction to relevant ministers. Yeah. So based on the research, I try to convince the technical staff at the line ministries, with hoping that the staff in the line ministry tell the ministers that this is a better policy that you should follow. When everybody agrees, I bring it to the Pleno meeting, which is chaired by the VP. And I don't want among the ministers fight before the minister, in front of the vice president, so we need to make sure that all the policies will be accepted by everybody. Yeah? So this is what I want to share with all of you. Yeah. So yes, indeed, the research for our unified database, the research for our card is very helpful for us. But if you don't have the broker, you will not see what you have seen today in the newspaper. Thank you very much. Thank you again.